Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Talk of the Town podcast. This is your host, Matt Brown here, and this is the first of very, very many episodes to come here on this channel. I am just so unbelievably blessed and excited to be able to get this started. And thank you to everyone who's supporting me, helping me fuel my dream. And I can't even put in the words how thankful I am for you guys. So thank you so much for everything. And I mean, I've had some failures, some adversities, some roadblocks on the way to getting this started. An example, a couple weeks ago, I failed my stockbroker's exam. And the first thing I told my dad when I came out of the building was, I'm done. I can't do this. I don't know what to do. And if you would have told me 2 weeks ago or 2 weeks later, I'd be able to have my podcast started, my dream started, I would have told you you're nuts. And to be able to be at this point is just unbelievable. And I'm just, again, so blessed. So, let's get this started here today. So a little bit about what this podcast is about. This is mainly the NFL and the NBA. If I had to pick one of the two of what the main topic is going to be on this channel, I definitely pick the NFL, especially going in here to the NFL season. There's just so much to talk about. I've just been a fanatic. I mean, I'm a fanatic about the NBA too, obviously, but the NFL is just on a different tier for me, And then close second, I have the NBA. Especially with the NBA just being out of season right now, there's not too much to talk about after the trade or the all season and stuff like that. Kind of the big trades are done. There was a Marcus Smart signing yesterday, but it's kind of hard to make main headlines out of that. So, and then I'd say the third is the MLB. Again, I just think the MLB is in kind of a weird state. I don't necessarily think it's in the best state right now. That's a topic for another day. I'll talk about that in a separate video. And, one thing I want to say is anyone and anyone's welcome on this podcast. It doesn't matter to me. We're all family here on this podcast. I'm just so thankful for anyone who is here watching me. You guys are the OGs here on this podcast. The first subscribers, the first watchers, whatever it is, you guys are the OGs. And one day when this is big, because it's going to be, I'm never going to stop doing this. And, that's the one thing with podcasting and just anything in life is just consistency. If you just keep going at it, things are going to get better. So, and that there's going to be plenty of special segments, special guests, everything here on this podcast. I have some planned here in the upcoming months already. So stay tuned because it's going to be very exciting. So, but let's get into the first segment of today's video. Are all-star games dying across sports? And I just have one simple word, is yes. Now, is it unsavable? Absolutely not. It has to change. The whole format to me has to change. And what brings us up to me, I'll let me pull up because I can never pronounce his name right. Last week, and the main reason why I'm bringing up this topic, we had MLB All-Star Weekend. And Jacob Bizrowski, however you pronounce it, you guys know what I'm talking about if you keep up. He only started in 5 games, pitched in 5 games before the MLB All-Star game. And to me, there's 2 main reasons why All-Star Weekend across, whether it's the Pro Bowl, the NBA, whatever it is 1, they've lost their credibility, and 2, they can't pull in the casual audience. And why I bring him up is because you lose your credibility, and while the kid's a stud, like he's been good when he's pitched 5 games. Like, I don't think Patrick Mahomes should make the Pro Bowl if he plays 5 games. And then he goes in and he's a Pro Bowler. I don't think so. Because there's other guys that could have easily made it over him that didn't. And I just think when it comes to playing enough games, like that counts to me. Like even if necessarily their stats aren't as good in a 5-game span, I don't even know how you can compare someone's stats who's pitched in 2 or 3 times more, however many more games to some guy who's pitched in 5 games. I don't know. You guys know what I'm saying, but it's just, to me, you lose your credibility when you do that. Like in the Pro Bowl a few years ago, again, Ravens fans might crucify me for this, especially because I'm a diehard Patriots fan, 25 minutes away from Baltimore. When Tyler Huntley made the Pro Bowl 2-3 years ago, No, I think they'll agree with me. He should not have been a Pro Bowler. But again, you just lose credibility when you pull moves like that. Another one I have is at NBA All-Star Weekend. The Aaron Gordon dunk contest debacle back in 2016. This one, it's not as bad as the one I'm about to talk about here in a few minutes. But when Aaron Gordon and Zach LaVine went off in the dunk contest, right? And, a lot of people said Aaron Gordon should have won. I think, honestly, I mean, Zach LaVine put on a hell of a show. I'm not necessarily going to get on him for that or for winning. I've never been the guy who said, "Oh, Aaron Gordon definitively won that," because I don't think he definitively won. I think he should have won, but it wasn't by a large margin, right? I mean, if Zach LaVine would have went against pretty much anybody else, maybe besides like Vince Carter, Jordan or away, you guys get my point. He would have kicked ass. It wouldn't even have been close. But he went against. That was the greatest dunk contest we've ever seen about 10 years ago. But the nail in the coffin to me, and I think for most people, because it's killed the reputation of the dunk contest, especially the last 4 years or so, was the Derrick Jones Jr. and the Aaron Gordon dunk contest. That killed it off. And that did a big damage on the entirety of All-Star Weekend alone. Because the dunk contest is arguably the most popular thing in NBA All-Star Weekend. It just is. And Aaron Gordon losing that, like I said, was the nail in the coffin. Him jumping over a 7'5" Taco Fall and losing was just disgraceful. I mean, what do you want him to do? Especially to Dwayne Wade. I have a Dwayne Wade poster right behind me. He's one of my favorite players ever. It's not biased. It's not anything like that. What the hell are you doing? Like, what are you doing? I'm not a Dwayne Wade hater or anything, but like, dude, what were you doing when you were voting for that dunk? He lost because what did he give him? He gave him like a 40 something, or I guess or an 8. It was like a 40 something overall for the dunk. But again, it's nothing against Derrick Jones Jr., but that was the most obvious one ever. Especially when Aaron Gordon is one of the great. People argue he's the greatest dunk contest participant and has not won a dunk contest. Yeah, it's just disgraceful to me. I don't, and to a lot of people, because the last 4 years have been terrible. And I mean, Mac McClung has been dude's like one of the greatest dunk contest contestants ever at this point. But at the same time, I mean, he's went against just nobody at this point. It's the dunk contest has been brutal. And the entirety of All-Star Weekend, I mean, when you just watch the NBA All-Star game, and the weird part about it is like with the Pro Bowl and stuff like that, you have a lot of players who just don't go, who just don't show up, like Josh Allen, Lamar, like those guys just don't want to go. And, I can't necessarily blame them, especially in some of the locations it's been at the last couple of years. It's been freezing fucking cold. And they can be in Cancun with their families, their wives, their girlfriends, whatever it is. I can't necessarily say I blame them. But, yeah, back to the NBA point. It's not like players aren't going. Like, obviously, you have some that end up don't going. They're injured or they just don't go. But they still have guys like LeBron. You have Giannis. You have Curry. Like, you have these players playing in it. Your main guys, Anthony Edwards, that are playing in it, but they can't draw in viewers. I can tell you one thing. They shoot like 83 pointers in the dunk contest, or excuse me, in the All-Star game. It's crazy. And it's not fun to watch. They don't have anything to play for. That goes across all of it. They have to give the players some incentive to play for, whether it's some sort of advantage in the regular season or whatever it is, or some sort of something. It has to be something. I don't necessarily know. Kind of a controversial one I have with the Pro Bowl is maybe if they did the Pro Bowl like a certain game or a competition that had the playoff quarterbacks, players, receivers, whatever it is, whatever group you wanted to pool, and they got maybe some sort of home field advantage in the playoffs or something but that would give the casual audience a reason to watch and something for the players to play for. Like I'd watch the hell out of that, but I don't watch it because they don't have nothing to play for. And again, with the credibility, I know this is my guy. I'll get on him here because I talked about Tyler Huntley. Drake May shouldn't have been a Pro Bowler this year. I think, again, he's going to be a hell of a player, and I think he's better than Huntley, but he shouldn't have been in there. He didn't even played the whole season. He was injured for multiple games. It was just, again, should not have been there. But that came down to the players not wanting to go as well. They didn't just vote him in. Like, he was that. It was like the third guy they had to replace with. So, they've got to give the players something to play for in the MLB, the NBA, and the NFL. And again, that'll give the viewers a reason to watch. I love that the players are having fun, but okay, so the second segment I have today, and this is a segment I'll upload every week, especially into the NFL season. Mind you, when we're in the NFL season, there's going to be so many amazing segments on this show, and I'm not just saying it because it's my show. I'm telling you, it is going to be so many rankings. It's going to be a blast to watch and do, and you guys are going to have a say in a lot of the segments I do. So be prepared. And well, this segment is 5 and Thrive and 5 and Dive in the NFL. Excuse me, my eyes just itching. My allergies are terrible the last couple weeks. I don't know why, but. So 5 and Thrive and 5 and Dive these are 5 teams that are thriving right now going into the NFL season, and then 5 teams that are diving. It's not the 5 best teams in the NFL, and it's not the 5 necessarily worst teams, but it's 5 teams compared to last year that are thriving, and 5 teams that are just diving from where they were at last year, in my opinion. So I have a couple of honorable mentions here today. So we'll do my 2 honorable mentions for the thriving teams. I have the Rams and the Raiders. I think the one thing with the Rams and why I don't have them quite in the top 5 is Stafford's health. Again, and his age, he's going, 37? And Stafford's had an injury history throughout his entire career, right? And I know while he hasn't necessarily had it the last couple of years, but he hasn't necessarily had it the last couple of years. The older you get, I feel like the more prone you are to it. And he takes some hard-ass hits back there. He's a big guy, and he takes those hits. And then you have the whole thing with Puka. Again, his girlfriend or his wife, whichever one, now apparently his kid isn't his or something. I don't care who you are. That takes a toll on you as a human being. And he's already kind of like contemplating retiring before 30. So like you kind of wonder where his mindset is anyway. Now on top of that, it's just kind of worrisome. And then again, Devontae's age. I think Devontae's going to be really good this year. But his age is a little worrisome. Receivers, he's kind of at the peak out kind of age, like the declining age for receivers. So we'll see. I think he's going to have a really good year, especially with Puka. And if Puka can stay healthy, that's been his main issue so far to start off his career. But yeah, again, their defense is young. They're fast. If you watched the Rams game last year, they're quick as hell. Dude, they are so fast, and they're just well coached. And when you have McVay, you're just going to be well coached. Their receiving core is great. Like I said, their offensive lines got way better throughout last season. So yeah, and again, they were a play away from beating the Eagles and maybe going to the Super Bowl. They would have been in the NFC Championship versus the Commanders, so the outcome would have been a lot different. And my other honorable mention team I have is the Raiders. Again, the Raiders had a hell of a draft. Genti, obviously, Jack Beck, however you pronounce his last name. Yeah, he was very good in college, and apparently he's having a hell of a training camp. So, yeah, I think the Raiders, again, they have players like Crosby coming back who missed some last year. Jacoby Myers is very underrated. Brock Bowers, just probably going to be the best tight end in the league this year, and he's going into his second year. Just incredible. The offensive line leaves a little bit to be desired. They have some pieces. And again, Geno's is an amazing upgrade over Minshew, O'Connell, Ritter. Raiders Desmond Ritter, man. Gosh. So they have made some big upgrades. Head coaching, Pete Carroll. So they're definitely thriving from where they were at last year. And my honorable mentions for my diving teams, I have the Steelers, who were actually on the top 5 for the diving teams, re-signing TJ Watt. Obviously, really takes you off that list a lot. That was one of my main points with the Steelers, is how have you not re-signed your best player on the team? What they did, I give them credit. But again, they have an aging roster too. Even TJ Watt's aging a little bit. He probably has 2 years left or so. Cameron Hayward, I mean, you're like really squeezing the juices out of Cameron Hayward at this point. He's getting pretty damn old. Their offensive line leaves a little bit to be desired. Their running back room, I love Caleb Johnson, the kid from Iowa. He's a rookie running back, so you're only going to get so much out of him. Aaron Rodgers aging. The receiving room isn't necessarily the greatest. I think DK Metcalf is incredibly overrated. I think he has been his entire career. I mean, he's a freak. He's a specimen, but his numbers don't necessarily put that in the picture. So I don't know. I think they'll be good. TJ Watt, their best player, is back. So again, I think they're going to finish around with 8 or 9 wins like they always do, probably with 9. But 6, I have the Bengals. Again, they're not on the list just because you have Joe Burrow. You re-signed Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. Your offense is going to be explosive, like it always is. But again, their defense, their first-round pick, it hasn't even signed with the team. There's talks about him re-entering next year's draft, which is just brutal for your first-round pick when your defense was already bad. You're still the Trey Hendrickson situation. If anything at this point, just trade him and get a pick or something out of it, because it looks like you're going to be left with nothing. I just, oh man, I don't know what the Bengals are doing. They're being the Bengals. They're being cheap as hell to the main unit they need, which is their defense. But Burrow can stay healthy. They'll be good. So let's get into our top 5. We'll just kind of shoot through these. The Ravens I have for my number 5 on my Thrive teams. Again, they were already good. They managed to get even better. They killed it in the draft. Mike Green, I know he had the sexual assault allegations, but, he's going to be a hell of a ball player. Aside from that stuff, which is big, but it seems like it hasn't haunted him to this point in his career so far. So, again, not discarding any of that, but just the production on the field. He's just, again, you got an elite pass rusher at a really good spot. Malachi Starks, they just killed it in the draft. The center they drafted, that offensive lineman, especially with Linderbaum not signed yet, I can't imagine they don't sign him. But yeah, I just they killed it in the draft. Jair Alexander, if he can stay healthy, it's going to be a hell of a pickup. DeAndre Hopkins, I think, is extremely underrated as a pickup. I know he's older. He's not D-Hop from 4 or 5 years ago. I get it. But he's 2 years out of a 1,000-yard season. And he's that receiver the Ravens have needed for 6 or 7 years of having Lamar Jackson. The big, tall, go up and grab a guy they just have not had, and now they have it. So, yeah, that team is going to be scary. A Super Bowl or bust for the Ravens. It is. If they don't win the Super Bowl or even get to it, it's a failed season. So, 5 for my dive teams. I have San Francisco. San Francisco is an odd one because if they're healthy, everything goes right, they're going to be a Super Bowl contender. But as of this moment, Pearsall and Ayuk on the PUP list. Again, that's tough going into this season. Your main receivers are not in there, and your receiving crew is not strong without him at all. You've seen what Purdy looked like without them there. It was rough for the 49ers at the end of last year. Again, McCaffrey's healthy, which is always a plus, but can he stay healthy is the problem, and his age is starting to catch up. Again, and that's another problem with the 49ers. Their roster's aging. It's definitely aging. I think the Super Bowl window is closed, but if they can stay healthy, then it can reopen for this year. That's for sure. So, and I'm not a fan of the Purdy contract. I know I'm one of those guys. I get it, but you've seen what the team looked like when he had to be in the Superman role, and he didn't really fulfill it. So, and they're kind of looking like they're going to have to start the season like that. It was somewhat. 4 for 4 for my Thrive team, I have Chicago. Again, Ben Johnson is an astronomical upgrade over Matt Eberflus. Caleb Williams going into his second year, I can only imagine he'll get better. He was not bad. He's taken way too much flack for what he did last year. God, that offensive line and just the coaching was so bad. It's two different realms. Their defense is just going to be very good. They have a lot of really good players. Secondary stacked. That team's healthy. Caleb Williams plays like he should. That team's going to be a 10-win team, 10, 11-win team for sure. They're just in a really fucking tough division. That's their problem. Their division is so hard between Detroit and Green Bay and Minnesota. They were in, let me think of another, like the NFC South with the Saints and the Bucks. I think that team would easily be the number 1 seed. Maybe not easily because of Tampa, but they'd at least be the 2nd seed for sure. Their division just so tough. 4 for my dive teams, I had Dallas. Again, Dallas is just like San Francisco. The roster's aging a little bit. Dak coming off a big injury. Brian Schottenheimer. Sorry, I'm trying to remember his name. I just, it's weird down there in Dallas. It's a weird situation. I like the Pickens trade. They have to re-sign Micah Parsons. That's another reason why I have them here. Without them, man, their defense is going to be kind of rough. Deron Bland, Trevon Diggs, if they can stay healthy, will be good. But again, they can't stay healthy. That big season each of them had was 2-3 years ago at this point. So they have to step up now and really fulfill what they should have been doing the last couple of years and can't because they can't stay healthy. So there's some question marks in Dallas. But crazy enough, I had them here, but I think they'll be contending for a playoff spot, if not in the playoffs. So Dallas is just a weird team right now because I don't know what's going on with their coaching situation. I have no idea. 3 for my Thrive team. Yes, I have my New England Patriots. Of course, they had a lot of really good signings this offseason. They had a really underrated, very good draft. Drake May, I think, is going to take that big leap this year. Their offensive line, miles better from what it couldn't get any worse from what it was last year. Their receiving crew, way better. I could go into it for hours on New England, but any of these teams really, to be honest with you, not even just New England, but yeah, I have them as my 3rd Thrive team. They made a lot of good additions this year. Their schedule, look up their schedule and tell me that they're not going to be in the playoffs. That's all I got to say. Let me grab a quick drink. I'm thirsty. Sorry about that. I didn't eat it. I was getting parched. We're already, 23 and a half minutes into this podcast. I just can't believe this is happening. I'm so excited. 3 for my dive team. I have Miami. Again, I think Miami's going to be competing for the number 1 pick. I really am not seeing the hype with the Dolphins at all. I'm really not. Again, can Tua stay healthy? Their offensive line isn't good. Teron Armstead retiring is brutal. Their draft is so. Losing Jalen Ramsey, obviously, I think their defense is going to suck. And I'm not just saying that because they're in the AFC East. Tyreek, I think, is going to be gone by the middle of the season. It's going to be tough, especially if Tua goes down. Zach Wilson's not going to be the savior of Miami if Tua goes down. That team will have 4 or 5 wins and looking at the number one overall pick. So, yeah, I'm not high on the Dolphins at all. Mike McDaniel's on the hot seat. There's already talks about him getting fired. It's tough down there. It's tough. I don't know. Miami's going to have a lot on their plate. That's for sure. And I don't think that they can end up filling that plate, to be honest with you. I don't. I think it's too much to overcome with not enough. So we'll see. Again, you never know in this league, but it's not looking good down there. And my 2nd Thrive team, I had Denver. Man, Denver had a really good draft. That corner they selected out of Texas, man, wanting to go with Pat Surtain. Their defense, I'll tell you one thing, their defense, or one style how their defense played last year was just like violent. Their defense was tough as hell last year. And they got even better. I think the Evan Ingram signing was really good on the offense. I think a really underrated signing of the offseason, to be honest with you. Their offensive line, they re-signed some key offensive linemen for sure. Bo Nix is only going to get better. One thing I will say about Bo Nix, though, and what people tend to forget coming out of the draft last year, he was the most pro-ready quarterback coming out of the draft. And I feel like he's already reached his ceiling. I think people are expecting Bo Nix to take another step. Bo Nix has reached it. I think he's about reached his ceiling. I think he's going to get a little better if he does. But we've seen about, I feel like, the peak of Bo Nix. People kind of tend to forget that. He's not 22 years old like a Drake May, like a Caleb Williams. He's a lot older. He's a lot more experienced. That's why he seems so much better than those guys in his rookie year. But you have to remember, he was the most pro-ready. And I think we've seen about the ceiling of him, which is a good ceiling, especially with Sean Payton. That team will be in the playoffs this year. I don't know about winning the division, but they'll be competing for it. And my second, sorry, I can barely read my own handwriting. My second dive team, I have Indianapolis. Between the ownership situation right now and Anthony Richardson is the glaring issue. Shane Steichen on the hot seat. It's not looking good. It's not looking good down there. And Jonathan Taylor struggles to stay healthy most of the time. I don't even know if he's going to want to stay healthy this year. I mean, when Daniel Jones is blatantly beating Anthony Richardson out in the quarterback competition, that's not a good thing. I've seen some things that people saying is Daniel Jones finally emerged as the quarterback he should have been. No, Anthony Richardson is that bad. He's not even playing. He's dealing with a shoulder problem now. Anthony Richardson, I can't imagine he's going to turn out to be good. Worthy of the 4th overall pick at this point. I think they just had to cut their losses. I think Steichen will be gone this year, maybe midseason. And the Colts will be wiped clean by this time next year. They'll have a new quarterback. They might even have Arch Manning. Again, the heir to Peyton Manning down there in Indianapolis. I think they'll be competing for the number 1 overall pick. I do not see how it's going to go good down there. They have some key players. They have some pieces. But again, I don't know, man. When you don't have a quarterback, you're so limited. They remind me a lot of the Raiders last year. They do. And my first Thrive team, my number 1 Thrive team on my list, I have Philly. I know Philly won the Super Bowl. How can they thrive anymore? They kept Zach Bond. You still have Saquon. It's not like Saquon was going anywhere, but so much of their team is still there. They kept guys. I know they lost guys like Milton Williams, who went to New England and all, but they had such a good draft. And I'm gonna tell you something. I know Philly beat New England and everything in the Super Bowl a few years ago. I hold a grudge against that and all, but I'm telling you, they got a good thing going down there in Philly. They do. They really do. So I'll give them a lot of credit. What Howie Roseman and all and those guys got going down there, it's something special. That's for sure. And my last dive team here on the list, I have the Browns. What do most people expect? The whole quarterback thing. Again, if your quarterback situation isn't figured out, you're like automatically on the dive list. Excuse me. And if their team isn't good, I think the Myles Garrett thing, they should have traded him. He's in his 30s now. You signed us some lucrative deal. You could have gotten like 2 first-round picks for him, which you need. I mean, I know they got the one from Jacksonville next year, but you could have added on that and just completely turned your team around in the matter of like a year or two. Now you're out there with Dylan Gabriel and Kenny Pickett and Joe Flacco and Shador. That whole thing has just been a debacle. Your team is so injury prone. Deshaun Watson, which I don't even have to explain. The whole thing down there is just a disaster. I'm not seeing the light at the end of the tunnel for the Browns. I'm really not. I don't even know how much they really want Shedeur Sanders. I think they drafted him just so they could get people to shut up. And, at some point you had to have taken him. I mean, I seen like teams like Philly were about to draft him. Like, there's just too much talent to leave there. It's going to be the number 1 overall pick. I get he had bad interviews and shit, but I don't know, man. The Browns, I'm not seeing the light at the end of the tunnel for the Browns. I will once Deshaun Watson is off the team, but yeah. I don't know. Like I said, it's rough down there in Cleveland. But that was my 5 and thrive and 5 and dive teams going in to the NFL season so far. I'll probably update it 1 or 2 more times if there's any more moves, but that'll be a weekly thing here on this channel. Constantly updating every week here once the NFL season starts. I have top 10 Tuesdays. That's another segment I'll have. Again, top 10 players, top 10 running backs, top 10 quarterbacks, top 10 teams. And I will let you guys go on my DMs on my Instagram. I'll leave the description below for that, or the link in the description below for that. And you guys fire in those DMs for the 5th segment you want for top 10, and we'll leave that for the entire year. You guys have the full option, or the full freedom to choose whatever you want for that. Okay, my next segment is, we'll kind of go over these really quickly here. The Dame and TJ Watt. Look, I think Dame going back to Portland's a nothing burger, to be completely honest with you. He's not even going to play this year, and by the time he comes back, he'll be like 36, 37 years old. He's had the blood clot thing this year and all. He's just going back there because that's his home. He loved Portland. He made rap songs about Portland being there and being his home and everything. He doesn't care about winning a ring anymore. He just wants to be happy. That's where his family grew up at. It's not going to be Dame time when Dame comes back. I think he'll still be good, but there's just so much to overcome between the injuries now. He's had a major injury this year, his age and everything. He's just going to go there and play out his career in Portland, and I fully respect that. And Portland has a pretty good team. Portland actually has a really good young team. So, I think there is a lot to look forward to in Portland, and I think Dame's going to be a really good piece there. But he's out of his prime. It's not going to be Dame time there anymore, like I said. So, we'll see. I might be completely wrong when he comes back. He may have another 1 or 2 really great years left, but I doubt it. TJ Watt, we'll talk about that situation. The Steelers, be blessed to re-sign TJ Watt, because if you didn't, you might be looking at the 1st overall pick. Again, when TJ Watt's on the field, who's setting you up for that Chris Boswell game-winning field goal for the 7th time this season? TJ Watt, the strip sacks, the sacks to make them punt, everything. He's the heart and soul of that team. He's the one making the big, the great, the giant plays. It's because of TJ Watt. If they didn't re-sign him, you don't have that. Alex Highsmith sure is only making those plays. You know why Alex Highsmith gets any sort of spotlight? Because he's next to TJ Watt. That's just as simple as that. So I think TJ Watt made them go from a 4 to 5 win, maybe 6 win team to being around that 9 to 10 win team again. So be blessed you guys signed him. I don't know. Maybe the Steelers aren't. I think I've seen a lot of Steelers fans want to finally tank and get rid of Mike Tomlin. Be careful what you wish for, because you guys were so quick to want to get rid of Ben Roethlisberger. And they haven't been able to figure out the quarterback situation since. So, I don't know. I think they're going to finish around 9 or 10 wins again and get bounced. And my last segment here today, my top 10 players in the NFL this upcoming season. We'll just kind of shoot through this real quick. And here's the thing, and before I get into this, because I know some of you guys are going to disagree with me on this, and that's perfectly fine. I love that on this channel. Leave in the comments what you disagree with and everything. Because I absolutely want to see it. I'll respond to everything and everything. The NFL is so good. It is so good that the top 30 players could be in the top 10. It is that good. So players that I don't even have in my honorable mentions could be in the top 10. It's just, the league's gotten so good. It's crazy. So my honorable mentions, I have Christian Gonzalez. He hasn't got the recognition he has because the Patriots have been so bad over the last couple of years. Penei Sewell, one of the best offensive linemen in the league, for sure. Micah Parsons, Cowboys re-sign him. As similar to the TJ Watt situation, your defense is going to be very lost without Micah Parsons. Are they? What's his name? Overshown. I think he comes back this year. He's really good, actually. He is incredibly underrated. But even still, Michael Parsons. You guys need him. Joe Burrow, I know. Stats-wise, he'll be probably top 5. Winnings-wise, I don't know if Cincinnati's going to make the playoffs, or their defense did not improve. Now you got the whole, again, I talked about earlier, the whole situation they got. So, Lane Johnson, I can't read my own handwriting. Christian McCaffrey, Fred Warner, and then, my gosh, one of my most underrated picks of the season right here, or controversial, and I think one of my most underrated players going into this season, Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to be a fringe top 10 player. He'll be a top tier receiver. I'm gonna tell you something. If he would have gotten drafted to the Chargers and had Justin Herbert, Ladd McConkey went for 1,200 yards. Nothing against Ladd McConkey. Marvin Harrison would have probably had 1,400 or 1,500 yards, maybe more than that. Seriously, there were so many plays of him open and being open, but Kyler Murray just can't see him. He can't see him. He's too short. He's literally too short. So I think he'll be on there. Now, that's not necessarily like my honorable mentions isn't from worst to best. You can flip him anywhere. You can put him in the top 10 or even worse than that if you want. But yeah, those are my guys. Again, Christian McCaffrey, if he plays, stays healthy, he has another 1 or 2 really good years left. Fred Warner, one of the best linebackers in the league. So number 10, I got Jay Daniels. A lot of people are talking about a sophomore slump, but their team's only gotten better. Laramie Tunsil and trading for those guys. Debo, I know people are kind of like memeing the Debo pick or the trade, but again, having Debo it mixes up a defense. Like whatever defense they're going against, that's a factor you have to watch for. And I think Debo is going to have a really underrated, a really solid year for sure. And it's going to make Jay Daniels even better. So Jay Daniels is going to be very good. I think he will be better than Joe Burrow. That's my opinion. Number 9, I have Aiden Hutchinson. Again, Lions may have been in the Super Bowl if Aiden Hutchinson was playing last year. He was on like a historic pace. He had like 6 sacks in a game last year or something crazy like that. No, Khalil Mack had it the 1 year, but Hutchinson's in his prime. Unbelievable player. I think he'll be Defensive Player of the Year this year. That's my pick for Defensive Player of the Year. 8, I have Myles Garrett. Again, Garrett is just a force to be reckoned with. And I know he's in his 30s. He has another couple really great years left. As long as he's healthy and playing, he's just going to be a force to be reckoned with. 7, I have Pat Surtain, former Defensive Player of the Year this year. Best corner in the league. Just shut down. Now he has, I don't know why I can't remember his name. They just drafted him from Texas this year. But it's going to make him even better. It's insane. With the Broncos, the Broncos got going on down there. It's crazy. And Pat Surtain's only going to benefit from it. And he's in his smack dab in his prime. 6, I got Jamar Chase, Triple Crown winner this year. Again, you can flip-flop him with number 5 here, Justin Jefferson. Again, whichever one you put over each other, I'm not going to complain. But I think Jefferson, again, get Joe Burrow throwing to him. He may be breaking the all-time yards record per season at least. So Jefferson's just a little bit better to me. 4, I have Josh Allen. Again, you can flip 4 and 3 here because 3 I got Lamar. Again, you can just flip-flop any of these. Like, they're incredible talents. I think Lamar should have won the MVP over Josh Allen. Josh Allen is an all-time player in his prime. Same thing with Lamar. They're going to be great. They're going to be trying to beat Kansas City in the playoffs. Leading into number 2, which I have Patrick Mahomes. Again, Patrick Mahomes may not be statistically top 5, top 6, top 7 quarterback in the league the last couple of years. He's a winner. As much as the Chiefs bother me, he's a winner. And he deserves to be there. And number 1, I have Saquon Barkley. The best player in the league to me. Would have broken the rushing record this year had he played in week 17. I don't blame them for not playing him, but took a team that got absolutely disappointed or got absolutely slammed in the wild card round last year against the Buccaneers, and they just kind of cruised through the playoffs. I know they almost lost to the Rams, but yeah, he's the best player in the league to me. An absolute difference maker. He stays healthy. They'll probably go back to back. That offensive line and everything. I mean, it's just crazy down there again in Philly. What you all got going on down there, it's just nuts. So that is my last segment here for my first video. You know, as time goes on, I'll definitely get better. I know maybe today I've had a little bit of stuttering moments, whatever, but it happens. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't nervous coming on here doing my first podcast, but again, I'm doing this daily uploads here on the podcast weekdays. I never take a break from analytics, anything like that, news, anything going on around sports, weekends, anything, never take a break from that, but I won't be uploading on weekends. Again, I got college and everything coming up here. So, but I'm doing this as my full time. This is my career right here. And thank you again to everyone who's on here supporting my first ever podcast episode. Make sure to stay tuned. There's so many great things coming. Like I said, special guests, special segments. Why not Wednesdays? I answer your guys' questions right here on Wednesdays on the podcast. It's going to be the full-length episode. So fire in as many questions as you guys have on my DMs. I'll make sure to leave it down below, a link down below. And again, thank you guys so much for being here, supporting me. Until next time, everyone, have a great day.